What is Gucci YouTube? It's your boy Black with y'all, three long face skinny body, and we are back, still black, of course, with some more fire Boruto manga related content. Yes, sir, ski. Now, before we get into the video, you already know the dealio. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, smash that like button, share the video with your friends. And for those of y'all who keep up with my anime daily episodes, stay tuned. We got episode 4 dropping very soon because My Hero Academia took me by a storm this season. But anyways, Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, let's get to the business, yes sir.
9 mountains and 8 seas make one world. 1,000 worlds make one chiliocosm. 1 chiliocosm to the power of 3, and there's nothing I can't cut.
Now, a lot was left to be desired within 2 Blue Vortex chapter 27, but also a lot was given to us that allowed new desires to come to light or come to fruition, or new ideas or theories to come to light or come to fruition. So if I had to really generalize this type of chapter, it's really about, powering up and preparing for a looming doom, a looming threat, right? Because we got figures like Inojin, who's training to master a new jutsu. He learns in a future where Himawari is something terrible happens, whether it be her death, her consumption, her being absorbed, merged, whatever. He avenges her and comes up with a certain jutsu that Kasha-Koji notes it's key into taking down Momushi. We got Sumire, who has been confirmed to have been working on research and technology that doesn't even exist in this world yet. And the final product, the final stage of her content, Boruto has given to her thanks to the ability of Kasha-Koji, again, seeing in the future, right? And then we got Kawaki, right? It's kind of confirmed. I don't know if you didn't take it this way. I don't know how other way you can take it, right? Because Kawaki has always been built up as to have a body that can handle not only the ninja tech that Amato has placed on him, but Ishiki's full power. And now Kawaki is asking for more power, and Amato's saying your body might break down. Granted, Amato's a master manipulator of words, yes, but also that just says right there, you already have everything that we've given you, that we planned to give you back when Ishiki was alive. If you go past that, your body can't handle that kind of power. So is Kawaki stronger than Ishiki right now? You're right, a whole lot left to be desired. But all of this being said, right, and then with all of those 3 characters, of course, the parallel, the connection with Sumire's own, power up, I guess you could say, quote unquote, or her, future knowledge being placed upon her, similar to how Kawaki and Inojin has had, right? Boruto is now about to get a new sword. Now, granted, I don't know if this is a future where everything is going down only is happening because Boruto told Kawaki to get his limiters removed early and they had that fight against Juro. I don't know if prior to that update, Kasha-Koji saw down the line Inojin was still going to master this new jutsu. Boruto likely still would have went to Sumire in order to get this new sword. Maybe it still would have been that case, but probably the percentage of those routes happening were less, or maybe just how we got about to those certain points were changed because of Boruto's, having Kawaki get his limiters removed early. So it's still no real clear cut and dry answer in that case, but it's still right there for us. Boruto will be getting an upgrade because of this sword. Now, the thing that makes this so crazy, because if it was just simply fixing the sword, we understand the sword got chipped. He would have just been like, hey, can you fix it? Can you do some real crazy mumbo jumbo blacksmith nanotech? Can you get me a all black Nichiren demon slayer sword, right? Can you coat my sword in some jujutsu cursed energy type stuff, right? If it was something just simple as that, it would have been at that. We probably still would have had pages of Boruto going to Sumire and saying, hey, can you fix my sword? Can you do this, that, and the third? But the fact is, these little dialogues, right? Boruto explaining the jutsu he uses on the sword, right? Which is also another confirmation of a new jutsu we haven't had name dropped in the anime or the manga. But understanding, we've seen figures like the samurai, we've seen Asuma extend his chakra out of blades. Hell, we even seen Sasuke do this same jutsu and not name it himself. But apparently, the way that Sasuke does it is slightly different than others, whereas Asuma isn't constantly, coating his blades in chakra. He's using his blades and he's shooting chakra, making it become an extension of his blade whenever he's fighting. Whereas Sasuke and Boruto are constantly coating their blade in chakra to make it stronger without it getting nicked. So in this case, where we see Boruto makes his chakra visualized, right, prior to all of this instance, understanding this jutsu has been continuous, it's not necessary for the chakra to be visualized, being cloaked around the sword for the jutsu to be active, right? This is just a visual representation that Ikimoto and Boruto is giving us. So if it was just regular, Sumire would have been giving him a Nichiren sword, but she literally says this technology does not exist in this world. And then Boruto says, yes, it's something that you're going to eventually come to the conclusion of. And then she goes on to say, if she does this, this will completely transform the sword. Now, why would you say that, whether it be physically or maybe durability wise, or maybe just the mechanics of how the sword actually works, right? One of the lingering ideas that I've seen, and I think this might be a great way to approach it, because I honestly can't see any other way, right? Boruto admits this sword will be stronger. Sumire admits it will be a completely transformed sword. So are we looking at a whole nother weapon? Maybe it's a bladeless blade. Maybe the blade can pop up like a lightsaber, but it's still like the metal, right? And then it has some type of different chakra mechanics. I've seen a lot of people say she's going to apply some type of nature to it that prevents it from being shrunken. But the fact that they use the word this technology is not existing in this world yet, it lets me believe it's got to be something we haven't seen yet within the story, or maybe that has been hinted at in the story earlier on. It might be built upon. So possibly a lightsaber, right? Or maybe it is something that Kawaki wouldn't be able to shrink with his dojutsu. But I think the mechanics is going to be what's important here. She might apply a certain mechanic that possibly might allow Boruto to have a ninjutsu sword. And what I mean by that is that a sword that can simply wield chakra nature ninjutsu. So he can swing his sword and he can be fighting with wind style jutsu. Like his sword can be coated kind of like a Uzuhiko, and then his sword can be coated with the Chidori Nagashi, and then his sword can be coated, I don't know, it can have flying pebble. Well, Boruto doesn't really use earth style, so I don't know, but maybe he can have like strong mini currents that can cut through air, swirling around his sword for like water style, because we know he uses water, wind, and lightning, right? So he can have some type of way to have his sword utilize his natural chakra nature elements that he already is using. So instead of trying to perform a jutsu like a water style wave blast, right, he can already have sharp currents swirling around the sword's tip, and the jutsu can be ready on the go as soon as Boruto is swinging his sword, like something like that. I don't know. It's the fact that the technology doesn't exist and it's going to be completely transforming the sword, right? And Boruto is a story that has been chakra transformations, modes, and training in jutsu that equivalents to power-ups. But now we're getting existential power-ups in terms of actual weaponry, not just simply saying nanotech or your body being cybernetically enhanced to get stronger. But Boruto has the current physical stats that he has right now. Yes, we've seen the lengths and how far he was able to push Jorah, but it wasn't enough. Now, simply adding the upgraded version of this sword can make that much of a difference. That not only says how strong Boruto is, but also says how much stronger this sword will become. And could it be a backdoor way to allow Boruto to balance the playing field? Because it looks like to me, they're not giving him complete control of his karma seal anytime yet. So they're going to have to figure out a way. If Kawaki is going to keep on getting stronger, keep on getting more Otsutsuki power, well, how can we make Boruto level the playing field without giving him his karma yet? Because we don't want that to happen right now. Let's give this nigga a new sword, and let's just make it that the sword is going to make him that much of a better fighter. There's been animes, there's shows, like I said in my spoiler video and in my chapter review, when you got holy swords, you got regalias, where the fighters themselves, their skills are great, their power is not undeniable, but once you place that sword, that specific weapon in their hands, it's a whole different type of territory that we're seeing them operate in. So I'm really thinking in this case, it might be similar for Boruto, where once we see him wield this sword for the first time, it's going to be noticeable, not how fast or how much stronger he is, but how much more effective his strikes will be, and possibly how much of a threat the weapon will actually make Boruto even more so than what he is right now. We've seen someone like Araya standing no chance in a straight up 1v1 against Ryu. Hell, even in a 1v1 with his sword against Ryu would it stand a chance. But the implication of the sword and the inclusion of comrades like Yoda with her hearing, Mitsuki in Sage Mode, and Sarada and her intuitivity, and eventually her Mangekyo Sharingan, all of those things played its parts in order to get its defeat or one-up on Ryu, but we understand how crucial that sword for Araya was. So the idea was already implemented into the story, right? So imagine we see a situation where Boruto is battling Jorah. Boom. He sees that he's not able to go beat for beat with him in straight up strength, right? Boruto acknowledged that his speed is the only thing he has the edge on, right? Understanding his Rasengan didn't work, his Uzuhiko didn't work, he goes in for a slice, he slices his leg off, but that's the only thing he managed to do. Imagine if Boruto's sword was able to implement so many different type of wind style, water style, or even lightning style nature jutsus, or just simply having it be its basis coated around the blade, right? Sharp currents of waves of water that when he slices his sword, you can get cut by sharp water or blown back by it, pause in the same way you can simply do that with wind, right? And even with lightning, there's so many different things you can do with a blade that's coated in lightning, right? But the mechanics of the blade itself can be programmed to where it's not necessarily Boruto wasting his chakra in order to get these mechanics to work, but more so this is how the sword itself was built, probably implementing Boruto's chakra inside of the progression process, right? Some type of way, but I still think however you look at it, Boruto gets this type of sword and he fights opponent like Juro. Juro will definitely look at that sword and be like, yeah, that's a problem. You're strong, yes, you're fast, but that sword is a problem. Imagine Demon Slayer, right? My guy Rengoku is fighting with a normal sword instead of a Nichiren blade, right? If he's fighting with the normal sword, sure, he might be strong and fast, but at the end of the day, if you're a demon and you're looking at him, you're like, bro, you're not going to kill me with that normal. I don't care who forged the blade. If it's not a Nichiren blade, it's not going to do nothing to me, right? But if you give that same Demon Slayer a Nichiren blade, it's a whole different story and a whole different results in this fight. And I think that's going to be the same case here. So prior to us getting more karma seals, possibly even new jutsus from Boruto, and definitely that mother freaking Jogan Eye, we will be seeing how he's going to implement his sword techniques and how this sword will make Boruto that much more stronger and level the playing field, because we understand Kabuki right now is in the lab trying to get his powers up, because Momushi is not wasting no times and the evasion is actually here. So I'm excited to see what this sword actually does for Boruto, and what do y'all think Sumire is going to like transform it in terms of technology wise, mechanic wise. I've seen people say it might be a bladeless blade. I've seen people say it might be a blade that can't be shrink, or it might be a blade that can absorb or nullify ninjutsu. What are your thoughts? What are your comments, and what are your concerns? Let me know how y'all feel about it. It's your boy Black Shot 3 Long Face Skinny Body. Holla at your boy. I'ma holla at y'all. Black Shot out. Yes sir. Skinny.